working out those details. Section B, bills and financial reports. Mr. Shaw.
Thank you. Section B1, list of bills, is comprised of the bills from December 2017. Just want to note that these were previously approved. We are including them in the agenda, so they are officially recognized into the minutes as well. The new section of bills is for January 2018. Also, the financial reports are comprised of Section B2, monthly financial statements for the months of both November 2017 and December 2017, along with Section B3, budget transfers for the month of January 2018.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Shaw?
Can you just maybe speak a little bit about the budget transfer and whether that's standard operating procedure?
Oh, sure. Yeah, in terms of budget transfers, we're required to wait 90 days before we're able to make budget transfers during any fiscal year. So typically that starts during the month of October. Those are our first month of transfers. And yeah, they're typical. We've probably been doing them for at least 10 years or more with the budget transfers. And just basically it enables to make various adjustments throughout the budget, whether it's an individual budget manager making adjustments in his budget or whether we're making an adjustment from one budget manager to another budget manager. Just really depends on the circumstances.
So it's not really to be viewed as like a sign of a distress?
Oh, no.
Nothing like that?
No, just as an
Just to be clear for the public.
Sure.
For transparency's sake.
And just as one example, say for instance, maybe there was one, because again, we use zero-based budgeting, everything's detailed out. Instead of purchasing one item that was detailed, say in the supplies account, something else wanted to be, maybe needs to be purchased. So in purchasing in lieu of that, you're moving money from one account to another account to make that particular purchase. Might be maybe a service, so a supply to a service account.
Anybody else? Okay, we don't have any previously tabled items for section C, so we will move on to section D, personnel items. Mrs. Crump.
Thank you, Mrs. Cerrucci. We do have some agenda items that we wish to vote on this evening that we present to you. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors accepts and approves the personnel agenda items 1 and 2 as listed in section D for the study session meeting of Tuesday, January 16th. Under section 1, we have 4 names presented to you for paraprofessionals. These are due to vacancies that we had in December and also the needs for new students. We also have under section 2 to approve the appointment of Robert Reger to serve as an advisor between the Gateway Board of School Directors and the Gateway Education Association at a salary of $30 per hour, subject to the terms and conditions of employment.
Okay, so there's a motion to go ahead and approve employment for section 1 and section 2, negotiation advisor Robert Rieger. Is there a second? Or I can't make a motion?
No, we need a motion.
Seconded.
Are those study session items or are they action items?
She wants
They're
to be an
These to
action
be
item.
action items, because we would like to start the aides tomorrow.
Okay, can we have a roll call?
No discussion. Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Mr. Kalkstein.
Aye.
Mr. Lapsfitch.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre. Mr. O'Donnell.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning. Mrs. Cerrucci.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The next section under D are personnel agenda items that will be voted on at the next board meeting for January 25th. We have 3 resignation listed. We have 11, excuse me, I said 2. We have 11 leave of absences. I know that sounds like a lot, but we had the meeting early in December, so some of these came in after the last meeting. All of them do have all of their documentation, and we do have substitutes for all the people who are going to be out in the teaching positions. For transfers under section 3, under the collective bargaining agreement, you'll see 2 names that have been transferred into those positions. Under section 4, for employment, we have 2 second semester long-term subs recommendations for Mr. Murphy at the high school. We also have a substitute custodian recommendation. Under supplemental contracts, we have 2 resignations and 2 issuances of contracts and 6 volunteers listed. Under section 7, for performance bonus, approve and authorize the recommendation for the following principals to receive a one-time $5,000 bonus per the Act 93 compensation and benefit plan. And that would be going to Mr. Knorr and Mr. Kowski.
Okay, none of those are action items.
No, those are all for next week.
Does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Crump on section D?
I have one question for the
one that's going to be replacing Miss Martin when she's on sabbatical?
Yes.
Will they have another fill-in sub?
Yes, we already have, her name, I know her first name is Paige, and she started this week.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions on section D? Seeing none. Section E, conferences and conventions. There is nothing in section E. Section F, administrative resolutions. Dr. Short.
Thank you, Mrs. Cerrucci. We wanted to have in front of the board the revised calendar of school board meetings for 2018, and you will see those listed in Exhibit A. The revisions as follows, as you see below listed, the study session meeting Wednesday, May 16th, 2018, followed by the regular school board meeting on Thursday, May 24th. We need to add this into the official records. Questions?
So moved.
Second.
It's an action.
No.
It's not an action. item.
Says action
Nope.
agenda.
Says action item.
It is an action item. We need to,
It is an action
we need to publicize this, so we'd like to
Okay.
get this moving.
So you got a motion and a second.
Motion and a second. Roll call.
Mr. Kalkstein.
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre. Mr. O'Donnell.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Aye.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Section F. Are you taking the section?
Yes.
two? Additional administrative resolutions?
Under Section F, Administrative Resolutions, item number 1, Student Adjudication, the Gateway School Board of Directors accepts the agreement between the Gateway School District and Student A, permanently expelling the 12th grade student from the Gateway School District as identified in the agreement. This has been a situation that has been ongoing for several months. We finally received documentation and a sign-off from the parent of the student in question here. If there are any questions from board members, please feel free to email me or give me a call concerning the student. Item number 2, 30-day display of science textbooks. Dr. Rossi?
Yeah, we have approval for the 30-day public display of the following science textbooks, which is part of the science renewal, curriculum renewal process. The 4 listed there. Just a note, we'll be adding AP Physics, will be added for the voting meeting. We're just waiting for the request form to come from the department.
Item number 3, facility rental agreements. Dr. Chaky, could you take those, please?
Yes, we have 2 facility rental agreements, one at Gateway Middle School and also one at Gateway High School, both in the auditoriums, Monroe Art Council and also St. Bernadette's Catholic Church.
Item number 4, Dr. Chaky.
And one overnight excursion request from Laurie Carey with the FBLA Business Competition at state level in Hershey, PA.
Mr. Schott, item number 5.
Thank you, Dr. Shorten. Item number 5 is the annual approval of the general fund budget tax rates not to exceed the index rate for the 18-19 fiscal year, which has been established at 2.8%. And just, I won't read the entire resolution, but essentially we've done this now probably for the last 5-6 years. I know I mentioned some of our new board members during the new board member orientation. This is just another hoop the PD has set up for us. This resolution, the passage of this resolution, limits any tax increases to the index amount, and it also enables, most importantly, district to stay on the old traditional timeline of not basically bringing forward a preliminary budget. It allows us to continue to develop our budget. In the next couple of weeks, we'll get to finally hear what the governor is going to propose. So again, it's very early in the process. This enables us to stay on a more traditional timeline and move forward with that. Item number 6 is also the annual approval to advertise for bids for various school supplies for the upcoming 18-19 fiscal year as depicted there under supplies. Item number 7 is to approve the hiring of White Realty Advisors LLC to perform an appraisal of the Gateway Middle School property and to issue an appraisal report in the total amount of $3,750 as depicted in Exhibit A.
Question on that. I thought that, Bill, you wanted that as an action item tonight.
Yes, can we place that on as an action item to move forward with that?
Which one's that?
Item number 7.
Appraisal for the middle school. Do you want to stop and do that now?
We can go through the rest
You wanna
and
go
have
through
a
the rest
vote
and
on
come back?
item number 7.
All right.
Item number 8, approve the hiring of Ariston Architecture in the net total amount of $13,050 for the architectural design of new entrances for Ramsey Elementary School, Gateway High School rear entrance, Evergreen Elementary School, and University Park Elementary School, as depicted in Exhibit B.
Question. This is our current architect, correct?
Yes. Yes,
And
that's
it
correct.
includes a 10% discount?
It included a discount of $1,200. The initial quoted amounts depicted in the note was $14,250.
Good.
$1,200 credit was applied.
Gotcha, okay.
Is that a different name?
Yeah, Ariston, it's probably been that way for at least the last year, year and a half.
Okay.
It was Apostol and Associates
Yeah.
prior to that.
Why are we not putting this out to bid if we had actually voted in a prior board meeting in December to rebid our architect? And now we're actually hiring an architect and we've never put any architecture firms out for bid.
We've always had them as our architect of record.
Right, but didn't the board in December, didn't somebody make a motion and the board approved to put that out to bid?
Well, I believe for RFPs, but that hasn't been moved forward with.
So when would that be
We
planned
were
on being
looking at-
moved forward?
Eliminating the credits from this crew with just these smaller projects, and then eventually going out to bid on a new architectural firm for big projects.
So this would be the last deal with them until we actually go out to bid for another architect?
Yes.
Because I would assume that this is the end of the credit.
No,
If we're
actually
good.
not. There's actually still additional credits, which I can actually tell you the exact amount.
How long could they potentially bounce that down? You know what I mean?
After the application of this $1,200 credit, there would still be remaining $11,593 in credits.
You know, one of the things I've thought about with respect to this is that as long as they're small projects and we know they're within market and you know these are within market, let's exhaust the credits. But if we go for a major project, then I think, I agree with you, we should go out and bid that project or those projects.
Just to give you an example, the last time that we had some application of the credits was when they assisted in the design of the various roof projects. They applied $8,450 in credits towards those fees. So, and that was from the original amount of credits of $21,243. So again, just based on, these are much smaller projects. These are just renderings that they would be doing moving forward for that.
Drawings of the facades of the buildings.
All right. Does anybody have any more questions for Mr. Schott on item 8?
I do.
Go ahead, Brian.
To the renderings, do we get to see them prior to hiring these people, or,
That's what they would be doing.
okay, so we hire them to do them?
Correct. Yeah.
And if we don't take the rendering, can we go with somebody else at that point?
Well, I think once my take on it is that once the renderings are done, we'd be able to analyze them and see what we would like to either pursue them further, depending on how they look for that, but we won't know that until they're able to come in and actually do them. I know Mr. Brown has had some discussion with them in terms of what the district's looking for. We've actually met with them several months ago, also talking about myself and Dr. Short, to review that process as well. So this is just the initial process. It's not to say that we would, actually go forward with the exact renderings or even go out to bid to actually make these modifications. That would be for some future discussion with Buildings and Grounds Committee as well, whether they would be worthy of pursuing as a project, an upcoming capital project or not.
All right, and the cost for all,
Net cost would $13,050.
13,000 just for the renderings?
Yeah.
Yes, for drawings.
Okay.
Just an architect.
There's three of them involved, correct?
That's three buildings.
Three projects, actually four.
Four?
The inside hallway of the,
That's right. Doing the back
The high
side.
school,
high
yes.
school.
You know, where the entrance is, where so many people who are not next to the garbage
The garbage dump entrance.
Right, we're gonna do that, we're doing
something with
Evergreen,
Ramsey.
Ramsey, and UP.
UP.
So it'll be 4 renderings.
Mr. Brown, you had a meeting today?
I did.
Any information you could share with the group?
That our initial thoughts were that this group may be disbanding,
Mhm.
retiring. That has been dispelled. They are staying intact and just waiting on the board's approval to move forward with this.
Okay.
I did present them with the drawings that
Mhm.
you had forwarded me, just to give them some direction on what to go with. And prior to doing it, they will be over the top with us some more, kind of to get the ideas from the Buildings and Ground Committee, yourself, myself, on kind of a direction to
Mhm.
go, to kind of keep it focused on more what we're looking for, rather than just an open-ended.
And just so the public is aware, we've had ongoing conversations and discussions and building and grounds meetings about the facades of our buildings, meaning the entrances, one in particular, Ramsey Elementary. I don't think it's been touched in probably 20 years. The former work that was completed involved taking out some pots and plants and basically landscaping it with concrete. And as you walk in there, it is a sea of concrete without really any focus on the main entrance. So part of what we're talking about here would be really taking the next step and creating a welcoming environment for an elementary building, not only at Ramsey, but University Park as well. So just to inform the public.
And as Scotty said before, in past meetings, and school board meetings and building and grounds meetings, that our elementary schools are kind of the face of our district, and they sell our district. And when you look at how outdated they are and how uninviting they are, we felt that that was something that would just be an overall improvement for the whole image of Gateway School District. Not to mention that some of the entrances have rotting
Yes.
wood above them, and it's not just aesthetics, some of it just is needed repairs. So we're trying to combine the two and help with the overall appearance of the district and make the elementary schools
And
inviting
this
to
would be
new people.
the second step in the process. Last summer, Mr. Brown spearheaded a project that was roughly $3.8 million, infrastructure related to heating and air. Anything else over at roofs at the various elementary buildings that took up a lot of time. And Steve O'Donnell was very influential in moving this
Steve
project
did a
forward.
lot to lead that project. Thank you, Steve.
I took the
Boy, you're
cue.
pushing me out,
I
Paul.
took the cue. But,
Anything, Mr.
you know, this
Building
would be
Grounds?
the next step. You know, we've improved the insides of the buildings that were desperately needed. So now we want to work on the outsides to not only make them more appealing, but functioning at a better level.
Yes, my only other question was, where did this credit with them originate? How did we end up with them owing us money essentially?
That originated from work that was not moved forward with. It has nothing to do with any billing errors. I want to dispel that. It came from
That's
projects that they were
last.
directed to do that did not materialize into formal projects. So based on some discussions we had with them in regards to those items, that's when they came back to the table and calculated out the 21,000 and change for that.
Okay, at some point it was decided to take that back in small doses and credits, or was it ever thought about to get the money back in a chunk?
Well, that again, they voluntarily had done that. There were some discussions with that, but the application of the credits has been, we've had some, let me just back up and say, we've had some discussions. I know Mr. Brown has had some specific discussions with them on that, but it's essentially entirely up to them in terms of the amounts for that. Believe my first thought whenever we got to that point was to say, well, let's just apply them all and end up with a free project, so to speak, for that and make them go away. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
Or just a straight refund wasn't a
No.
possibility?
Oh, no.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything on section 8? Steve, you want to add anything? All right, section 9.
Item number 9 is to approve the district's continued participation in the Allegheny Intermediate Unit Number 3's joint purchasing program through the joint purchase agreement for the 18-19 fiscal year. It would be further resolved that Mr. Paul Schott will be the district's primary representative, and Mrs. Patricia Crump will be the district's alternative representative as depicted in Exhibit C.
Any questions or comments? Item 9.
And item number 10, we have the acceptance of several district donations received during the current fiscal year. First donation will be through EduLink. Patricia Crump, they actually had provided an option for a donation to a nonprofit, and since we do know of a nonprofit that is very closely tied to the district, it made sense to go through the Gateway Education Foundation. That is in the amount of $500. Second donation is from Bruce E. Dyson Associates. It was for 50% of student meals during the state football championship game, benefited students of the high school, and that is in the amount of $1,970.
So you know,
Mr. Dice.
well, don't thank me yet. The second half will come next month. So we're gonna donate the 100%. I just want everybody to understand. We broke it up over 2 months.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have the second part on as well. The third donation listed is from Spitzer Auto World Monroeville LLC, Robert L. Tomasin III. This is to Pete Murphy for the Gator Cafe for purchases to enhance the new Gator Cafe at the high school in the amount of $25,000.
Wow.
Our other donation listed is from the Sleep Center of Greater Pittsburgh, Elizabeth Myers, $315 utilized to pay off negative school lunch account balances for needy students district-wide.
Very nice. I think I can speak for everybody when I say thank you. Thank you to EduLink. Thank you, Mr. Dice. Thank you to Spitzer Auto World and Sleep Center of Pittsburgh.
Would you like a motion now on?
Yeah, we need to go back to the action item.
Item 7.
Item number 7, approval of White Realty Advisors LLC to perform an appraisal of the Gateway Middle School property.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve O'Donnell, second by Mr. Ritter.
My only question would be, just because I'm not that well educated in the world of real estate and things like this and the appraisals, this is something that the 360 group doesn't fall under their,
No, it does not.
okay. That's all I want to know.
Anybody else have any questions, comments, discussion? No? Okay, Bonnie, roll call, please.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Mr. O'Donnell votes aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Take it off,
Mrs.
sir.
Cerrucci.
Aye.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Mr. Kalkstein.
Aye.
Motion passes. Section G, resolutions presented by board members. Mr. McIntyre, do you want to take item 1 there?
Again, this is not an action item.
Correct.
It'll be on the agenda at the regular board meeting. Resolution of the Gateway School District approving the purchase of tasers for Gateway School Police. Whereas the Gateway School Board has approved and hired a full-time police force commencing in July 2016, and whereas the Gateway School Board approved a $9,000 purchase as part of the standard issued equipment for police officers as part of its 2016 budget. However, excuse me, said expenditure was not made due to a tentative agreement that the tasers would be donated by Allegheny County. And whereas Allegheny County has withdrawn that offer to donate said tasers, and whereas it is the purpose of the school board to preserve a safe school environment for students, staff, and visitors, as well as provide equipment necessary for the police department to function to the best of its ability. So basically, the Gateway School Board will be looking to approve an allocation of funds to purchase 7 model Axon tasers in the amount of $8,600 in order to provide the Gateway police officers the necessary equipment that they have requested in order to provide the officers with a non-lethal weapon option in accordance with the standard equipment for police officers in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. All resolutions or parts of resolutions which are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed.
Thank you. I don't think you have to read section 3. Is there any questions or
Yeah,
comments?
do we want to talk this up at all now, or?
I have one question. It said that the county withdrew their donation.
Correct.
Why?
They deemed them, because they sat for so long, they deemed them unsafe for use, if I'm not mistaken. And the new model is, if I'm correct, is actually the same model that Monroeville Police Department is currently in the process of upgrading to. So it's what police departments are buying. It's what our guys have looked at and decided it would be the best equipment for them.
Okay.
How will they distribute them amongst the police officers in the schools?
I believe it's set up to initially be one per building. And I would leave, obviously, who carries that up to, between the principals of the building and the police officers, between Brian Key and Tim Scoot, to manage that amongst their guys.
Thank you.
I think moving forward, I think the final goal is to equip all of our officers so that everybody's fully equipped with a non-lethal option. This just kind of gets the ball rolling, and we can do this in smaller financial chunks.
Anybody else?
Yeah, policies in place for the use of these already, comprehensive policy?
Yes, when we created the school police force.
That was already included in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can send you those.
Yeah, please. And these devices they're projectiles, basically. You pull the trigger and it projectile. Okay.
Projectile meaning
And if I'm not
Electronic.
mistaken, most of them are dual capacity. For up close, it's like an old school.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Do we have any comments from residents on non-agenda items?
I want to sign up in advance.
Nobody signed up. Does anybody in the audience have any comments? Seeing none? Okay, reports. Section 13. Mr. Short. Dr. Short.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone, staff, students, parents, guardians, Mr. Brown, your work over the last 2 weeks has been tremendous in maintaining the opening of our buildings. We've had a number of 2-hour delays. This administration has taken it upon itself to be proactive and to call those the night before in order to help those parents with child care issues, so, and Bonnie as well with busing. We do spend a lot of time with this, just so the public is aware. The majority of superintendents do communicate via email with one another when making these decisions. Of course, we also consult with our local municipality, including the police and the public works, but also inter-school as far as, central office. There's a lot of time spent in making these decisions. This has been an unusual spell of weather, and I think everyone can agree with that. And first and foremost is the safety and the welfare of our children. And we have to take that into consideration, not only with whatever the temperature may be, but the wind chill as well. But moving forward, it looks as if we will have another 2-hour delay tomorrow. I'm officially making that call. Looking at some emails and some things that have been popping up. So Bonnie, you know what to do on your end.
Get the word out.
Micah, you're out there, you heard me. I can see you typing away. The temperatures do look like at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. It will be around 2 degrees with the wind chill -6, so we will have a 2-hour delay tomorrow. So thank you, everyone, for just hanging in there. We're hopeful that this weather can break here soon. I can't wait, to be honest with you. It's tough waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to gauge whether or not, we have to cancel or do something. But just to let everyone know the process. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Short. Dr. Chaky, do you have anything for us this evening?
Nothing at this time.
Rossi?
Nothing further.
Might as well just go right down the line. Mr. Schott?
Nothing further, thank you.
Mrs. Crum?
We do want to remind everyone that Kelly Services is providing substitute services, and they are looking for teachers and paraprofessionals. We have contact information on the website, or if you have any questions, please feel free to call our office.
Mr. Ritter?
Sure, 4 things. We've got some school board director training that's available to us. One was December 9th. I took that one in Upper St. Clair. There was another one held in the A.W. Beatty Career Center in Allison Park on January 13th. There's one more that's going to be offered this coming Saturday on the 20th at Allegheny Intermediate Unit Number 3. Free lunch. Free lunch.
I was holding out for the free lunch. So.
There you go. So take advantage of that, guys. Next, I would like, Bob, if you could, are you going to be at a regular meeting in about 10 days? If you do come to that, would you please provide an update on any items that we tackled over the summer that have not yet been completed? I'm thinking specifically of the Students Gator Cafe. There's a little bit more polish that needs to be done in there, I think. Very good, okay. And then the swimming pool, the humidity control system has a few lumps that need to be ironed out. And then the police cubicle on the school's main entrance. There's a little bit of patchwork that needs to be done there. And anything else that I don't know. Just give us a broad update if you would. And then next, we need a better means of governing the broadcasting of the school board's meetings. I know Michael Brown, the technology director, has created an automated system whereby when he puts the broadcast up on the school's main page, it also filters out to the Comcast and the Verizon local cable access stations, but that doesn't always work. So we need a better means of handling that. Plus, who wants to watch the school board meetings all the time? I was thinking that we've had a lot of really nice choir, choral concerts, Christmas concerts, and the kids have done tremendous jobs of singing and creating beautiful music over the many, many past years. If we could put those up during the month of December and the end of, December and January, just so that when kids come back home and they're sitting around, they can put the local access station on and listen to themselves, watch themselves with their friends, singing some of those old songs, just wonderful music. So there are things like that that we could just pull off the shelf, automate them, and make better use of what we have right now. And the last one is, Mr. Short, we've had our first premiere issue of the brand shiny new Gateway magazine. So I was wondering, have you had any reaction from the public on that? Do they like it? Have they gotten it? Have they given us feedback?
Teachers, yes, positive feedback. Public, nothing official.
Okay, so if the public wanted to give you some feedback, how would they best do that? Send you an email or?
Email, phone call. Perhaps I could work with Mr. Brown to put something on the website as a survey.
So this is another way that we're trying to let the public know what the kids have been doing, what they've been succeeding at, what projects are going on, how the football team is doing, how the other teams are doing. So this is one way that we're doing that, package this together, put all this together and get it out to the families here. So does the public like it? Do you like it? Should we could do this again? Should we beef it up, trim it down, add more detail? Let us know. So send Mr. Short an email or a phone call. Have him over to dinner. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ritter. Mr. Lepsovich.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Maybe I could clear something up for you, John. Me, Val, Steve, and I hope I didn't forget anybody else. We're on Buildings and Grounds, and we know about the swimming pool trouble. What Bob doesn't find out, we find out. We both work, hand on. He did an excellent job with everything. But if you want any kind of review, just see me and Val, because we could probably tell you as much as Mr. Byrne could tell you.
All right, so let's do that in public.
Okay.
If there are any wrinkles, I'd like to have the wrinkles brought out. Any successes, I'd like the successes brought out as well. So we'll do part of that during our board report next regular session. Sound good?
Okay, only way I would do that too, if you would bring your iron with you.
Iron out the wrinkles. Very good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Warning.
Nothing at this time, thanks.
We hope you feel better, Mrs. Warning. Mr. O'Donnell.
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Rice.
Nothing.
Mr. McIntyre, you have
Thank you. anything? Just real quick, actually, I was just to touch on something that Dr. Shorter mentioned earlier. With the weather and everything, I want to commend municipalities of Monroeville and the borough of Pitcairn. They've always been the best, among the best around, community-wise. I live just above Pitcairn, have to go down that ridiculously steep road going down towards the borough building. I have never once had a problem going up or down it in the worst kind of snowstorm. Over the weekend after, all the snow, I do a lot of driving around the city and things like that, and I'm telling you, you go drive through the city and then come back to Monroeville, you're gonna be very, very happy that you're back home. So, big thanks to everybody involved with the road crews in both those areas. And I wanted to also thank Chief Cole, Chief Farrelly for handling a fairly sticky situation last Friday. There was the incident down in Pitcairn with the shooting and everything, and had some good conversations with both chiefs afterwards and with Mr. Short, and they were in excellent communication with the district. They handled the safety of Propel. Everything was done extremely quickly, efficiently, and I know I feel a lot safer knowing that those guys are out there all night and all day looking out for the interests and the safety of everybody that lives here. And also, they had backup from East Pittsburgh, Turtle Creek.
Number of meetings.
Yeah. So again, just a big thank you to all the officers and to the two chiefs in particular. I thank you very much for keeping us safe, and that's it for me.
Mr. Gottman?
I have nothing at this time.
Okay. Mr. Kalkstein, Dr. Kalkstein?
Nothing at this time.
Okay, with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you for those of you who braved the cold.